As I step into week 9 of pregnancy, I'm reflecting a lot on these past few weeks. I found out my position in my corporate job was being eliminated at 5 weeks pregnant. This week is my last week at work, and while I've had many moments of anger, fear, and tears, I can't help but smile as I enjoy my last Monday in the corporate world, maybe ever. My husband and I wrestled back and forth with whether I would stay home when our first child was born before we found out we were pregnant. I never saw myself as a stay-at-home mom. I fall much more in line with the girl boss category, and while I still feel one day I will return to work, I'm taking this clear message that I've received that it's time to take a break. And I'm diving into learning to become a homemaker, stay-at-home mom, trad wife, whatever you prefer to call it. While cooking, cleaning, maintaining a home, it's certainly already in my Rolodex, part of my daily life. Learning how to cook cleaner, more whole foods for my family as I prepare to grow a bigger family. Learning how to clean with, cleaner ingredients and just, provide the best version of my home that I can, and learning how to perfect some of the silly little daily tasks that we have, like laundry and making the bed. That's all things I want to lean into during this time, as I'm embracing this slower period and gearing up for the next few months of my pregnancy. When our little babe arrives, my days will be filled with feedings, diapers, naps, repeat, but for now I'm leaning into just the simple joy of our home and keeping my body and mind as healthy and as clear as I can to give this baby a great home, both in me and an even better one here in our home when they do arrive in the beginning of summer. Pregnancy so far hasn't been bad. I've had mild days of nausea and only lost my lunch once, but the tiredness is very real, and I definitely feel much more hormonal than usual. There are a lot of commercials that make me tear up, and I can't help but just laugh at how silly it makes me feel. I'm grateful to have this extra time now to prioritize my health. I committed to myself that I'd stay as active as I can during this pregnancy for hopes of a good labor and recovery process, although I know I can prepare as much as I want and your baby has its own plan on how they'd like to arrive. I'm thankful to have a good community around me during this time, friends, family checking in, asking questions, showing that they do genuinely care for me and this baby at this time. And I often hear that pregnancy can feel very lonely at times, and while I can understand how easy it can be to feel that way, and have certainly had some of those moments myself, I couldn't be more thankful for the people around me, especially my few friends that are in pregnancy themselves, a few months ahead or behind, and can just relate to what I'm going through and tell me what to expect, especially those better days ahead going into the second trimester. While everyone tells me to soak up every moment of pregnancy, I can't help but dream about fast forwarding to just a few weeks ahead from now when I have more energy and get to feel our baby moving for the first time, and for it to just feel even more real. But for now, I write letters to them, wondering who they'll be, telling them about how wanted they are, our process to getting them, and just how much we've looked forward to this time since our first date, it feels like. We get to find out the gender in a few weeks, and I'm so excited to be able to call them by their name and also have a better ability to truly picture who they will be and what our life is going to look like with them. But with all that being said, I'm here to say that it's okay to complain about those bad days. We often feel that while pregnancy can be a tough journey and many people go through a lot to get here, that we should just constantly be positive and upbeat at all times. And I just don't think it's possible. I think it's okay to have those days where you say that it's hard or that you wish you could just have a day off from the symptoms. I found myself Googling, how hard is it to adopt after rushing to the toilet last night? So I'm here to give you permission that while we are so lucky to be experiencing this miracle, those first few months are tough, and we just have to be able to laugh at it. And I think humor, when you are nauseous, you are tired, and those days where those symptoms are just really challenging, being able to laugh and just remember what this end goal is has certainly been something that I found really helpful as I go through this process. Part of adjusting to my change in employment has, of course, been creating a stricter budget and looking to cut back on unnecessary expenses. This means I'm thrifting a lot more clothing instead of online shopping and actually using those coupons that come in the mail for the grocery store instead of throwing them out. One piece of this for me is learning how to recreate some of my favorite things to buy out at home. To enjoy starting with this zucchini bread. There's a coffee shop down the road that makes it, and we have so many great memories walking up there with our dog, getting a cup of coffee, sitting and watching families play in the park, and we know someday we'll be able to go splurge on things like that again, but for now, I'm really hoping to recreate the same magic at home. And for this loaf of bread, we're taking it to share with some friends who are hosting a fall party, and I'm just excited to be able to share with friends and family what I'm creating in my time, and really leaning into baking and cooking. And while I've always loved to cook, baking is something that has always been really scary to me. It truly is a science experiment, and so being able to take this extra time that I have to bake more, and especially learning how to create a sourdough starter and bake from that will be a big part of my journey, as well as there's so many different ways that you can use sourdough. But here, this is just a traditional zucchini bread recipe that I'm hoping to really perfect as time goes on, and hopefully make it taste just like the one that we're used to enjoying. My journey to staying active during pregnancy has certainly had its ups and downs. I would say realistically, I find time to do this a couple times a week. It just depends how I'm feeling. Luckily, we've collected a little workout equipment set up over the last few years so that if I don't have the energy to go to our gym, I don't have to. I really recommend the page Pregnancy and Postpartum TV as well. She has a playlist that curates different workouts by trimester, 15 minutes to a whole hour, and I watch that a lot. But sometimes I just go upstairs and just do what feels good, trying to really focus on keeping strength in my arms and my back, and prioritizing my hips as well, everything that you need for a good labor, and just to make me feel good and to feel strong. I feel more confident now in my body than before pregnancy, and I think that's a really beautiful thing and something that I'm really trying to celebrate and enjoy. This year was my first year gardening, and while not everything made it to the finish line, there was a lot of trial and error, but it's great to reflect on the end of the year here and see that my herbs flourished. I planted a lot of Missouri wildflowers, and they did great as well. One of them here getting even taller than I am, but you'll also see some plants didn't take off at all. And so I learned a lot going into next year, and especially with gardening, the only thing that really kept up is my tomatoes, and I'm excited for next year to start earlier, be smarter with my soil, and take you along on the journey too as I try to have an even more thriving garden next year. But for now, the garden is beginning to shut down for fall and winter as we start to get into frosty nights here in the next few weeks, and I'm really looking forward to everything that fall and winter will bring. Time together with friends, family, the holidays, and just enjoying everything that the Burr months have to provide.